He was just hours from death. His vision was fading to a blurry pinprick of light. His legs, once so strong, now felt like foreign objects, refusing to obey the commands from his brain. Every muscle screamed, every joint ached with a fire that went bone deep. Logic, biology, everything he knew told him this was the end. He should have collapsed. He should have been still. But for some reason, his body kept moving. This is the incredible and frankly baffling story of a man who walked through the valley of the shadow of death and somehow kept going. What force was compelling him forward when his own will had all but given up? Was it a miracle? A medical anomaly? Or something else entirely? We're going to dive deep into one of the most astonishing tales of human endurance ever recorded. This isn't just about survival. It's about what happens when the human body defies its own limits, pushing past the point of no return. To understand how he got to this point, we have to go back 72 hours. It started as a routine expedition, a solo hike through a remote mountain range he knew like the back of his hand. He was an experienced trekker, always meticulous in his planning. He had the right gear, enough food and water for twice the expected duration, and he'd notify people of his route and expected return. But nature, as it often does, had other plans. An unforecasted freak storm descended with breathtaking speed. One moment, he was enjoying the crisp mountain air. The next, he was caught in a whiteout blizzard. Disoriented, he lost the trail. What should have been a simple backtrack to his last landmark became a desperate struggle against the elements. The temperature plummeted. The wind howled, a physical force that battered him and stole his warmth. He set up a makeshift shelter, hoping to wait it out, but the storm raged for 2 days. His supplies, meant to be a generous buffer, dwindled at an alarming rate. When the storm finally broke, he was weak, dehydrated, and miles off course in an unforgiving landscape. He knew his chances were slim. The protocol for this situation is clear: stay put, conserve energy, and wait for rescue. But a series of small, disastrous decisions, fueled by creeping hypothermia and a growing sense of panic, led him to do the opposite. He decided to walk. He thought he could find his way to a ranger station marked on his map, not accounting for how the snow had altered the terrain, making every step a monumental effort. This was his first critical mistake, a decision born of a mind already beginning to fail. The first day of his desperate trek was a grueling test of will. He pushed through waist-deep snow, his body burning through its last reserves of energy. By nightfall, he was exhausted, but he couldn't stop. He knew if he lay down to rest, he might never get up again. His water ran out. He tried eating snow, but it only lowered his core temperature further, accelerating the hypothermia that was clouding his judgment. He started to hallucinate, seeing phantom cabins in the distance, hearing voices on the wind. His rational mind was losing its grip. By the second day, he was a ghost of himself. Frostbite was beginning to blacken his fingertips and toes. He hadn't eaten a proper meal in days. He was severely dehydrated. Medically speaking, his body was shutting down. The human body is a finely tuned machine, and he was running on empty, with every warning light flashing red. Organ systems begin to fail. The brain, starved of glucose and oxygen, ceases to function correctly. This is the point where most would simply lie down and let the end come. And that's exactly what he tried to do. He remembers a moment of strange clarity, a peaceful acceptance. He found a spot beneath a large pine tree, curled into a ball, and closed his eyes. He was ready. He felt no pain, only a profound, bone-deep weariness. He was giving up. His mind had surrendered. He was letting go. He was, for all intents and purposes, dying. And this is where the story turns from a tragic tale of survival into a profound mystery. Because after what felt like an eternity, he opened his eyes. He wasn't dead. In fact, he was on his feet. He was walking. He had no memory of getting up. His legs were moving in a slow, shuffling, almost robotic gait. He tried to stop them, to consciously halt his movement, but he couldn't. It was as if he was a passenger in his own body. His vision was a tunnel. He couldn't feel his feet or his hands. He was operating on something beyond conscious control. What was this? Neurologists and physiologists have a few theories. One is a phenomenon known as automatism, where the body performs complex actions without conscious thought, sometimes seen in sleepwalkers or under extreme stress. The basal ganglia, a primitive part of the brain responsible for motor control and ingrained habits like walking, might have taken over completely. Think about it. Walking is one of the first complex motor skills we learn. it's hardwired into our brains. Perhaps when the higher functioning parts of his brain shut down to conserve energy, this primal, automatic function took over. It's the biological equivalent of a computer rebooting in safe mode, running only the most essential programs. His body's one remaining directive, encoded deep within his subconscious, was move to survive, and so it moved. Another theory points to the role of adrenaline and endorphins. In life or death situations, the body can flood itself with these powerful chemicals. They can mask pain, provide bursts of energy, and push a person far beyond their normal limits. It's possible that his system was so saturated with these neurochemicals that it effectively hot-wired his muscles, keeping them firing even as the rest of him was failing. He was running on pure, uncut survival instinct, a force more powerful than conscious thought. For hours, this automaton-like state continued. He stumbled through the snow, a puppet pulled by invisible strings. He doesn't remember the terrain. He doesn't remember the cold. He just remembers the relentless, inexplicable forward motion. He was a machine stripped of everything but its primary function, and then, as if from a dream, he saw it. A light. It wasn't a hallucination this time. It was the porch light of a remote cabin, a tiny spark of hope in an endless sea of white. The sight of the light seemed to break the spell. Consciousness flooded back in a painful, jarring rush. He felt the cold, the pain, the exhaustion all at once. With the last ounce of his strength, he stumbled toward the light, collapsing on the cabin's porch. The owners, an elderly couple, found him moments later, unconscious and barely breathing. His rescue and recovery were nothing short of miraculous. He suffered severe frostbite and lost several toes, but he survived. When he told his doctors and rescuers his story, they were stunned. They couldn't medically explain how he had been able to walk for those final, critical hours. He was, by all accounts, a dead man walking. His body had been hours past its breaking point. His core temperature was dangerously low, his organs were beginning to fail, and yet he walked. So, what do we take away from this? The story challenges our understanding of human limits. It suggests that deep within us, there exists a primal will to live that can override even the complete failure of our conscious mind and physical body. It's a humbling and awe-inspiring thought. That when everything else is gone, our thoughts, our feelings, our very sense of self, some fundamental part of us, some ancient biological programming, keeps fighting. It's the ultimate testament to the resilience of the human spirit, or perhaps the human machine. It's a reminder that we are more than just our thoughts. We are living, breathing organisms with a power and a drive that we rarely, if ever, tap into. The man who walked when he should have been dead didn't do it through willpower. His willpower was gone. He did it because his body refused to quit. It's a story that will stick with you, a chilling and inspiring look at the ghost in the machine. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the unexplained and the incredible. Let me know in the comments what you think happened in those final hours. Until next time, stay curious.